Today we're hosting a trash fish supper. It's a fundraiser for an organization that is near and dear to many of our hearts here called the Chefs Collaborative.
Where would the best place for me to put this thing?
And we are exploring some alternative species to put on the table. It's jokingly referred to trash fish. I mean, we use that sort of as a, an edgy, catchy name. I think they are fish that you traditionally don't find on American tables. So we started with the supply. We went to Leaf Gildersleeve at Flying Fish Sustainable Seafood. We went to the folks at Port Orford. We talked to some of our sponsors, Monterey Bay and Environmental Defense Fund, and we said, what is underappreciated? What is available this time of year? What can we get? We gave the chefs the list and they chose.
You can see right here there's something, it's called the Bloodline. And that's really, a lot of people consider that very bitter. So I like to just remove that whole thing.
We are featuring 4 species. The Ivory King salmon, where the white Ivory Kings are often sold at a much cheaper price and or not sold at all because people don't associate white with salmon.
That's why it's considered a trash fish, because a lot of people would see that and it's different, so they wouldn't want it, so they would just throw it back and just get rid of it.
It's just a tiny little bit frozen on the tail where the smaller part is.
For kind of the ooh factor and crazy factor, we're featuring a wolf eel, which is, again, something that people don't generally go out fishing for, but during the good practice of hook and line troll fishing, they come up, and so if you have a fish on the hook, it's better to eat it and use it, feature it on a menu, rather than turn it into bait or waste.
We're looking at using more fish that are bycatch so that we're not just overfishing 1 or 2 species that everybody likes. For example, in this part of the world, everybody really loves halibut and salmon, but we kind of need to take some of the pressure off those species and start looking at some other species. People call these wolf eel, but they're not actually an eel, they're a fish. Unlike eel have really oily meat. Their meat is not oily, it's cleaner and lighter tasting.
We are also featuring sand dabs, which are an example of a plentiful species and probably underappreciated by the American public because they're small and bony, but they're delicious. And then the final offering is going to be a skate wing, which again is not a completely unknown fish, but is another example of bycatch.
This is Pacific skate. I'm going to make a very kind of ancient Roman dish that was often served on Fridays for the holy days when the Catholic Church didn't let people eat meat. And it was also, skate was considered kind of a dish of the poor people. In Rome, it just wasn't an expensive fish. I just got back from Italy where they revere like all kinds of fish, both little fish and big fish and freshwater fish and eels and all kinds of things that we ignore here as Americans. And I just would like for us to have the appreciation for those fishes and to have the opportunity to be able to buy them.
The Collaborative is a national network of chefs who are sort of food activists trying to change our food system using their purchasing power and their own kitchens to demand more sustainable supplies of more sustainable ingredients. We believe that chefs have a lot of power in society right now in terms of influencing buying habits of the greater culinary community, and that by changing our own practices, changing our own menus, that we hopefully can change the minds of the greater population and work to change this broken food system. This is sort of the beginning of what we're trying to do, is take on an issue, have dinners around the country that highlight that issue, and then we'll move on to another one. So next year, look for us to be doing a dinner around the use of antibiotics in factory farming. That's one of our main goals right now, is to eliminate that use. We're really hot on it. Kathy had a vision of a Sunday afternoon Italian supper So we will serve family style. We will have a brief time to talk about the issues, and then we also have filled our program with information about each species, and we really are going to encourage guests to interact with one another around the issues that are on the table. There's not a right or a wrong. There are very few issues in sustainable food are black and white. It's a continuum, and we just hope that everybody walks away with kind of one change that they might think about making or asking for in their food system, in their personal food system.
Cheers.
That was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Super fun.
Of course, yeah.
That was fun.